Hi, I'm Angie Hilton and welcome to Unbreakable Entrepreneurs. As business owners, major challenges are inevitable. So how do we steel ourselves to weather the storms? Here, you'll find real-life stories of resilience, as well as tips from thought leaders and mental health experts on how to become unbreakable entrepreneurs. Uber-talented muso and entrepreneur Andy Pobjoy just gets entertainment. He can read a crowd like no other. With his unique concept of piano bar, Andy opened his first one in Geelong in 2015 and has since watched its popularity soar at a rapid rate, even through COVID. I caught up with Andy for a quick chat in between sound checks. Andy, so good to see you. How are you going? I'm loving the bright background.
Well, this is actually the latest poster wall that we put up at Piano Bar Bendigo. So that's one of the small things I like to do every time we open a new piano bar. I get in there in my painting clothes and pick out some of my favourite posters. And yeah, so I'm quite happy with the way it turned out. It looks all right.
Brilliant. It just screams excitement.
It's overstimulation. I think that basically sums up Piano Bar. It's daycare for grown-ups, really, we like to think of it as.
That is so perfect. Now, for those who may not know about Piano Bar, I don't know how anyone wouldn't know about Piano Bar, but can you explain what your business is and where it is?
So I come from a cruise ship entertainment background, and I got to the point 6.5 years ago where I was sick of being away from home 3 months at a time. So came back to Geelong with the idea to take a cruise ship piano bar and put it on land. And we started off with a small 50-seat venue in Little Mallup Street, which then grew into 2 venues on the same street block, which then grew into opening one in Colac. And then just before the pandemic started, we decided to open up one in Ballarat and one in Bendigo. We were open for just a miserable 3 weeks before the pandemic hit, and we had to shut everything down. So, and then we've continued to grow a little bit more. With the one in Bendigo opening, we've relocated in Geelong now to a new 300-seat venue, and we're just about to open number 6 in Northcote in Melbourne. So it's our trip up the highway. Yes, it's been a really interesting journey, especially through COVID.
I'm curious to know, did you ever realise Piano Bar would be as big and well received as it is?
It's quite funny, with the broad appeal that we aim for, which is everyone from 18 to 88 and everything in between. I think we realised as soon as we saw the number of these little request slips that we have come up on the piano, it really piques people's interest and fires their imagination when they can walk up to the piano man and ask for any song, whether it be like Barry Manilow or Billy Joel or Beyonce or, Billie Eilish, it doesn't matter. We try and get everyone in the room on the same page with the songs. And it's something that's really special to see 2 or 3 generations of an entire family. Nan's up on the chair having a dance. The grandkids are there. It just really shows the power of music in our lives and the power of music, friendship, fun, laughter, having a good time. And I think that's one thing that we've really missed throughout the pandemic. And to see people finally back enjoying themselves at Piano Bar is just a beautiful thing. So for us, that's the whole thing. We try and create an atmosphere, and it's more than just a night out. It's more of an experience. We expect everyone to have a few drinks and carry on a little bit.
It is exactly that. And it feels like something that I guess people would see as a safe space to just be whoever they want to be, do whatever they want to do. No one's going to judge. It just has that warm family vibe to it, doesn't it?
There's a great level of acceptance we have, but also it's that sense that nobody's really watching you. In a town like Geelong or a town like Colac, you tend to bump into people you know quite regularly. And Angie, you know this, a trip to the supermarket can sometimes take 2 hours by the time you bump into people. And I love a chat, so I'm always up for a chat, but it gets me in trouble because I'm always like, Andy, wind it up. But what you see is this, like we call it the Holy Trinity of Piano Bar, the teachers, the nurses, and the childcare workers. They are our Holy Trinity. These people work their little butts off, and oftentimes they don't get the chance to come out and without looking over their shoulder or worrying about what the kids might be thinking of them, or they can just let loose with friends. And I think it's that sense of escapism, something that people in Geelong sometimes haven't had the opportunity to do locally. They've had to go to Melbourne for, but I think that what we're seeing, especially in the West End Little Mallup precinct, we're trying to create experiences that bring a bit of that Melbourne spirit, that sort of Melbourne taste down to Geelong. And you can see how much we've grown up over the last 5 or 6 years, I think.
That is so true, and it's really exciting to see that progression. And it's where can it even head? That's the exciting thing for Geelong, that we're really moving with the times finally. And I think you're one of the instigators to really get that happening. What I'm curious about is you've gone from a relatively safe thing of doing gigs on the cruise ships and taking that step into being an entrepreneur and create what you've created. How did you feel doing that, and was it a challenge to even come up with the idea?
There was a lot of pushback from people that I worked with, and especially people in the music industry who thought that Geelong wasn't ready for a concept like this. I had a bit of pushback from within my friends and family as well, thinking that perhaps it was too much of a risk. But I think the key to any business idea is starting with what you can manage. So we started with that tiny 50-seat, it's the size of a tram basically, for a music venue, and the rent was low. We did a very cheap fit out. We didn't go in and get over our heads. And that gave us a good 12 months to really try the concept out. Sometimes my fear for people in hospitality and in the entertainment and the arts sector is they go in too hard, too fast, and they don't really get to pass on the true experience of what they want to convey to their audience and to their customer base, because they're so worried about the bottom line, about the admin, about the hiring and firing. That's not what creatives are good at. What creatives are good at is creating an experience and entertaining and engaging people. Now, until you can find the right people to surround yourself with, like a good manager or a good book, all these sort of things that sometimes musicians and performers aren't the best at, if you can just start and get your concept out there and show everybody the potential that it's got, the right people come into your life at the right time. And that is exactly the case with Aaron Skinner, my business partner, who is an ex-Qantas manager of all operations of Northern Queensland and Northern Territory. He took a package, walked into a piano bar one Thursday night and never left. So the two of us are a bit like yin and yang. I come up with the crazy ideas and the sort of the showman side of it, and Aaron is there every step of the way with me, making both of our dreams a reality. And I think finding the right partnerships, finding the right alliances, and of course that's where somewhere an organisation like Chamber is so important, because you find those like-minded people, you find those people who have the skills and the skill sets that you don't have personally, and that's where you form the partnerships. And a town like Geelong, because there is just an abundance of talent, not just musical creative talent, but in terms of business growth and development and mentorships, and people that have been in business longer than you have. You could just call them up and ask a question. This is the great thing about doing business locally, and I've also been so surprised at how we've been able to forge those same connections in other towns that we operate. Mm-hmm. So as I say, I think the key is not to go too hard, too fast. Really throw yourself into your idea and your concept, but don't put yourself in a situation where all you can worry about is how you're going to pay the next bill or how you're going to pay the next month's rent, because nobody does their best work when they're under financial pressure.
That is so true. Such great advice. And you say finding the right team. It must be hard. I'm always curious, how do you find the musicians that know every song that you could possibly throw at them? Because they do, don't they?
It's really a chicken and egg thing. We love giving it a go. And for people that start working at Piano Bar, often they come from a background of musical theatre where everything is really rehearsed. And often there's that fourth wall where you are trying to pretend like the audience is almost not there. What people really appreciate about a night out with us, if they put up a ridiculous song, like a particular Cardi B song that's a bit naughty and risque, I mean, I've even had a crack at silly songs like that. That's where the sense of humour and that disarming nature of Piano Bar comes in, because it's not going to be perfect. It's all about having a fun sing-along and being a bit dorky and not looking polished, and maybe sort of going out with your friends and getting a little bit loose, kicking your heels off. And it's that silliness, I think, that disarms people. And that's happened exactly the same way with our performers. They now realise that it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just going in there to have a good time and have a go. And that is the contagious energy that we try to bring every single night.
Absolutely. And that is exactly what it is. It's contagious. You always know if you go to piano bar, it's going to be big, it's going to be a little bit wild, and you just get caught up in the vortex and you just have to be part of it. And it's great until the next day.
I was going to say I've instigated a lot of things, many hangovers I
Yeah.
think I could be blamed for. Look, honestly, I think that's part of it though, the escapism, especially post-COVID, and that connection that you feel with an audience and the friends that you make or the people that you just randomly bump into on a night out, that is intrinsically human. That is something that we as little human beings love doing, and it's not the same over, I know we're meeting over Zoom now, but I tell you, it's that human connection that people have craved and in a lot of cases has been taken away from them. Yesterday I did a live stream from a nursing home in Ocean Grove, and just the look on their faces. Now, obviously, we've all played in nursing homes before, and they're very grateful at a normal time. But these people hadn't seen a live performer in nearly 2 years, and they were fully engaged with it. But you've got to understand, a lot of these people didn't even get to see their friends and family for a long time either. So I think that is going to be the springboard from which we all launch into this post-pandemic world. Because it's going to be huge on the other side. Can't wait to see all of these hospitality businesses that have struggled for the last 2 years really flourish and thrive in the coming months.
And I'm predicting that piano bars are going to pop up everywhere around the country. Is that right?
Well, like you say, so long as we can find people to sing and play piano, we'll be fine.
Now, tell me, the pandemic must have been one of the hardest things for you personally to go through, with entertainment just non-existent. Can you tell us how you managed to cope with that time?
Yeah, well, from the first day of the lockdown, we started live streaming, and it ended up going for 100 consecutive nights. And since that initial lockdown, we've done nearly 500 live streams. A lot of those, since we did stop doing the public ones, have been paid corporate events, which has been another stream that has kept us going and kept our brand moving. I think part of the challenge was to not let the shutdown of your physical venue and your physical business stop your business and stop your brand. So we managed to really push through on that. And every time we got in and out of lockdowns, we saw a huge sugar hit of people wanting to come in to book and to support us and what we were doing. A lot of other hospo businesses are just hitting their stride now because they did shut down for a very long time. We tried to keep the piano bar brand and what we do forefront of people's minds, so that when we did get out of lockdown, people were primed, they missed us, they were ready to come back in and support our business. So for us, it was a mind over matter. I know a lot of our team did fall in a bit of a hole, but for me, just the act of almost defiance of getting in front of those little live stream cameras and doing a live stream every night really kept my head in the game and gave me something to wake up for every day. And it also kept our musicians performing and our singers singing, and we paid everybody, our drag queens performing as well. We paid everybody the normal gig fee throughout the whole time.
Okay, Andy, I know you're in hot demand. You've got to get it back onto set right now. So tell us, what are the plans for the future?
We are just going to consolidate for at least the next 6 months. We've got some exciting plans for our former piano bar venue in Little Mallup Street, with a new function and event space called 26 opening downstairs, and something very exciting planned for upstairs, which we can't wait to launch very, very soon. Piano Bar North, that's coming in 4 or 5 weeks roughly. And we've got our piano bar shipping container down at Port Arlington at the foreshore from Boxing Day all the way through to the end of January. So we've got some exciting events happening, and we really can't wait to see all of you back at Piano Bar very soon, including you too, Angie.
Ooh, I'll be there for sure, and we'll see you at the chamber events. And your last hot tip for anyone about to go into business?
Positivity, and ask advice, ask questions, ask anyone. Don't be afraid, because anyone that's in business wants to help other people succeed in business. It's not competition, it's community.
Love it. You're amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Angie. Have a great day.
On the dance floor.
Anya.
See ya. Bye.
I'm Angie Hilton, and thanks for listening to Unbreakable Entrepreneurs podcast. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and head to geelongchamber.com.au for more wellbeing tips. This has been brought to you by the Geelong Chamber of Commerce and the Partners in Wellbeing program.